Do the sex.
Locker Room Talkin' Shots listeners and She Explores Life readers enjoy steep exclusive discounts on products from some of the biggest brands in the sexual health and wellness industry when you use my special code. You receive 20% off all Fun Factory products when you use my special code SELS20. And you receive 15% off revolutionary brands Womanizer, We Vibe, and Love Honey when you use my special code EXPLORES15, and you receive a whopping 30% off all Velvet brands. That includes The Thruster, Lacier, and Voila when you use my special code EXPLORES30. But that's not all. Scroll down, click the link, sign up for my e-newsletter, and you'll receive these discounts and more, including pop-up sales from these brands and others right in your inbox. You will never have to pay full price for lube, vibes, lingerie, all the spicy stuff that keeps you coming back for more.
Do the sex. Do the sex.
Hi, this is Annette Benedetti, your hostess for Locker Room Talkin' Shots, the podcast that likes to think of itself as the queer NPR of raunchy women's sex talk. You are about to sit in on the kind of conversations women have on their girls' nights out or behind closed doors while enjoying delicious drinks and dishing about sex. Think fun, honest, and feminist as fuck, and always with the goal of fighting the patriarchy one orgasm at a time. Welcome to the Locker Room.
Ring loop.
Today's Locker Room talk topic is facials, how women really feel about men's semen. That's right. We're talking about cum shots to the face. Although, let's be honest, we are not limiting our conversation to cum on the face, but we are definitely, this topic was inspired by the concept of cum upon one's face. And my guest today is one of my favorite gals, Ruby, aka Deanna, who has joined me on multiple podcasts. Deanna, what is your favorite so far?
I'd have to say it was the most Googled questions.
Sex
questions, yes, because there was some questions that I was like, really? You're asking this?
Yeah, there were some funny ones.
Yeah.
So if you guys have not yet listened to it, it's a couple episodes back, and we covered the most searched sex questions from the COVID years, and it was pretty fun. We had the whole crew on it. It had been a while since I had done a podcast with everybody on it. But today it's just Deanna and I talking about jizz on the face.
That's right. Just a little intimate conversation about cum.
Just a little intimate conversation about cum. And so in the spirit of today's topic, we did not search for a drink at all because, well, I didn't have time. So instead I thought I'm just going to look at what's left in my booze cabinet from all of the drinks I've been creating over the last several months. And I'm going to create a shot just for this podcast. So I created a shot that I am calling, well, Deanna actually came up with the name, and we're calling it the money shot.
Hell yeah.
And you can make it for very little money. It's cheap. It's from the leftover booze in my fridge. I will put up the recipe at some point, and you will be able to make it at home on your own and raise your glass along with us. So let's just dive right into the sperm, jizz, cum,
Protein pack.
Our protein-packed conversation. So let's talk about sex. Woo. I'm ready. Yeah, it is actually. It's a refreshing drink. Mm-hmm. It's very spring-like, even though it's not quite spring yet. But on to what's important. Cum in the face. I was inspired to address this topic because while I love fucking And I love fucking in all different ways. I personally have not, until very recently, appreciated specifically the male coming from a penis and testicle, cum, jizz, boo, what it spits out into and upon me. I have not appreciated it. I have not liked it. I would say, in fact, for a while, I would have actually said I hated it. Deanna, what has your historical relationship been with cum?
My historical relationship with cum.
That's what I want to know about.
Well, you see, we met way back and no.
I like it. Way back when.
Right. I'm not going to say when. We have to have some secrets. Anyways, I never had a problem with it.
You've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
But have you liked it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have liked it. Well, I still like it. You know, when you get that warm load on your ass, it's, I don't know, I think it's sexy and it's a turn on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I imagine it's probably the same as how people feel when they're with a woman and she gets really, wet and you feel her juices. It's about the same thing when a guy, spooges, especially. So there's like that pre-cum.
Yeah.
And,
I have not found that quite as offensive in the past.
Oh, because I mean, it's just a little bit. It's not like it's the wad coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like all things cum.
Can we just talk about the word wad? I mean, it's also a gross word. Maybe part of the problem is the words you nut. Oh, yeah, nut, wad. God, we need to be pulling up a list of fucking synonyms.
Well, with wad, it's from the phrase blow your wad. And now, don't quote me on this. I'm not saying I'm a historian on slang, but thinking about
on cum or slang,
just slang. But thinking about, blowing your wad is when you ejaculate. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's an old term, because when you think about gunpowder, like rifles, they have a wad in them. And so when you shoot off...
It's called a wad?
When you shoot off the gun, you're blowing the wad out. So maybe that's where it came from. I'm just guessing.
Wow, that's very intellectual of you. I am... Deanna, you're bringing some integrity to this fucking conversation.
Hey, we are intelligent women.
That's right.
We're not just all about sex and cum.
Oh.
Oh, I bet you know.
Anyways, I did look up, I tried to look up synonyms for ejaculate. I refuse to call it ejaculate. By the way, I will not write about it as ejaculate. I do study a little bit before I do these podcasts to see if I can bring any fun facts to you folks. And something that really I found kind of funny was most of the articles in mainstream publications that are out there, I think they're just afraid. Like, I don't know, they're trying to be proper about it. So when the ejaculate is on I'm not using the word ejaculate.
No.
But that's beside the point. I like your point about wad. But when I think of the word wad, I think of like spitting like a loogie.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I had an aversion to cum for a long time. Now, I have had a change of heart in the last little stint of my life. For the first time in my life, I have not felt repulsed and literally gotten up to run to the bathroom after someone has put their cum in or on me, which is what I did in the past. That might have been, well, I mean, look, I was not always overt about it, but I think most people understand if after sex a woman's like, oh, I've got to go potty, right? And you slink off to the bathroom and stuff like that. But recently I have actually found myself really turned on by it. And as I have sort of started deconstructing, my shame around my negative view of different sex acts, it has caused me to ask myself, like, why do you feel this way about cum? And specifically because I have been asked in the past if I would, if someone could come on my face, and I've been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, fuck you. No, I had a very violent reaction to it. And so as of recently, as my relationship with, semen and cum and spoo has changed, I've been like, what is this facial thing all about? Let me be clear, no one has requested that I do a facial, but I'm like, well, maybe I'm open to seeing why. Why would someone be into that? Maybe it's something I should consider. So I decided I would turn to science first, friends second. And believe it or not, folks, as I searched and dug through the internet, there has not been a lot of scientific study done on facials. Are you surprised by that, Deanna?
No, not at all.
There have been a handful of articles about facials and publications willing to tentatively approach the subject. And mostly the older articles I read, it was shaming about the idea of facials and how it's degrading and no one should think that's normal. And it's, there was Dr. Ruth? Remember? I can't believe she's fucking still alive.
She's still alive?
She was, as of the time that article was written. I think it was 2011. Hey, Alexa, is Dr. Ruth still alive?
Dr. Ruth Westheimer is still alive.
93.
Folks, I don't know how. I just got an Alexa, and I don't know how that's going to come through on the recording, but apparently, yes. I just fact-checked myself. Dr. Ruth is still alive, and she I don't know if it was, I think she was on Twitter or something like that, but she had, maybe it was pulled from a book she wrote that basically young people should be taught that facials are not a normal part of sex. And I sort of, whenever I bump up against these conventional norms around sex, I have that sort of rebellious spirit in me that's like, well, why does it have to be so yucky? Well, as I started to read articles kind of that were released closer and closer to current date, there were things like Dan Savage, I think, had a conversation about it, and he was like, yeah, it's humiliating, but that makes it good because humiliation for some is a fetish and a turn on. Now I want to fast forward to modern day 2022, two queer ass women sitting at the table, and we get to talk about it. I want to dare to say, perhaps it's not about humiliation. Perhaps it's just about sharing bodies and fluids like all of sex is and not limiting yourself. Now, this is coming from a woman who's never had sperm on her face. Well, I mean, for the most part, outside of normal oral sex activities. But what do you think, Deanna?
I don't think it's really about humiliation. Going deep again. I think it might be about vulnerability.
Yeah.
And letting yourself be vulnerable. We all don't like to be vulnerable, but when we do that, it kind of centers you and stuff, like being able to be vulnerable. And what's more vulnerable than having someone come on your face?
Right.
I don't see it as a humiliation thing. I don't have a humiliation kink.
Or degradation, no.
I do that, and it's going to be a hard no. So
will you explain to our listeners a little bit about degradation and humiliation. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
maybe some of you know, but degradation and humiliation is a kink. Can you explain a little bit to
Oh
that?
yeah. I know quite a few people who that is a kink. So what that entails is you are sexually excited and turned on by people making derogatory remarks, having you do embarrassing things, calling you a dirty whore, having you wear a dog collar and eat dog food out of a bowl. It's a little more extreme type thing. So some people that is a kink and they get off on that. They get off on being treated that way. No, it's the opposite for me, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And that's why.
Yeah, we don't shame kinks like that either. However, that's a kink. It's not mainstream conventional vanilla sex.
And I mean, to a person that's into that type of kink, when someone comes on them, and comes in their face, maybe they see that as degradation.
Well, and it could be done in a degrading way.
Right. And what some people have a hard time with that kink is they think that there's no consent, because basically, your partner is doing these things to you. They're just doing them to you. You might not like them, but there is consent there. You know they're going to do these things. And
in we're talking about degradation.
Right.
Well, there's consent because the you don't like them,
have
but
that relationship.
but they make you horny.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that what we're trying to say, so I wanted to clarify around degradation. It's kink. It's people, yet people get turned on by that. But we're arguing that facials aren't necessarily degradation. I want to go back to really quickly. I did find a study. It's rudimentary, maybe at best, but I found a study. It was done by the study, I gotta pull it up here. It was done by the people at Bad Girls Bible. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I don't know how I came upon them, but I did. And, so they did a study that was actually a survey of 740 heterosexual men and women. I'm a little confused about why they chose only heterosexual folks, but they did, and it was the only study I could find. And they asked them where they or their partner had most recently ejaculated, where they most enjoyed coming, and where they believe the opposite sex love and hates to have ejaculate put upon them. All of that I don't really give a shit about. What I gave a shit about was a little bit of information I was able to take away, which was that 1 in 4 of the people from that survey sometimes do facials. Ejaculate on their partner's face. So 1 in 4 people are doing that. And men prefer giving facials 3.3 times more than women prefer receiving them. If that all does that you follow all that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then 26% said facial cum shots are degrading. All right. Well, we're going to go back into the degrading element of it. But here is what I found really, really interesting. And I had to read it a couple of times because I read it to be the opposite at first. Feminists were less likely to think so. Feminists were less likely to agree that facials, cum shots to the face, sperm upon your brow was degrading. Which I'm like, okay. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Now, how have I gone from praying that someday men's sperm would somehow, or cum, it's not just sperm, it's cum, it's spoo, it's ejaculate would somehow turn into a puff of baby powder that left me feeling fresh and clean afterwards, to saying, maybe some cum on the face is empowering. Well, first of all, I started to let go some of my shit. I met someone who I could really enjoy and I felt respected by, and we could get kinky. And then I was listening to this book. I keep mentioning it on this podcast, called Total Sex by Nina Hartley. She was a porn star turned nurse turned porn star. I don't know, sex advocate, sex positive advocate. And I was listening to her book and she made this comment, and I thought that it was, really important, that she was not okay with people acting like the fluids that came from men's body, meaning, cum, ejaculate was disgusting. Like, she wasn't okay with people acting like ejaculate on your face or anywhere else was disgusting, and that the fluid itself was disgusting and bad, any more than she was okay with men acting like women's menstruation or anything that comes from, whether it's, breast milk, after we've had a baby or we're on our period, is disgusting. And it really was just a moment where the light went off in my head. I do have men in my life. I have a lot of issues with men and the patriarchy, for sure, and living within a patriarchy, and the patriarchy's holding control on the conversation about sex. But also, I'm like, yeah, that's really fucked up. It's really, and it harkened back to the one experience, most recent, last handful of years, I had a man ask if he could come upon my face. And I was like, no, like, not unless we get a whole lot more serious. And he looked confused, and we had a little conversation that went something like this. He asked me why it was so problematic for me. And I'm like, I think it's disrespectful. I think it could be an act of disrespect. It seems rude and humiliating. And he's like, why would you think that? There's nothing wrong with my cum. My cum isn't a bad thing. Like, he was literally, I don't want to say hurt. I don't know if he was hurt, but he was insulted by it. He's like, my cum isn't a bad thing. Why are you acting like it's this awful, evil thing to have on you, but yet you'll fuck me, So that was a little bit, like, in that moment of listening to her book and having these conversations with my partner and starting to be turned on by my partner with a penis's, ejaculate. And then thinking back to that conversation, I was like, I've been programmed. Perhaps the idea that come on your face is horrible, something that fucking Dr. Ruth is willing to stand firm against it, that it's just so bad. Perhaps that's part of the conditioning around, the patriarchal conditioning around, sex shaming and the idea of what's good and bad and acceptable and not acceptable in bed.
Right.
Huh?
Well, we're supposed to be, good, proper women, not porn stars. So most of the time when you think of money shots,
cheers to the money shot.
cheers to money shots.
As that we're not drinking unless we're cheersing.
What most people associate the spooge facial with is porn, because that's the big money shot. And when it's on the face, oh man. And, I will let you know that's like my favorite part.
I also read that.
And don't ask me why, but, I love a good porn that ends with a great money shot to the face. I don't know why.
You don't know why.
I don't. And it's always been that way. Like, it turns me on.
Okay. I still gag a little when it happens, when I see it happen. We'll be right back. Spice up your intimate moments this holiday season at 30% off when you use code EXPLORES30 at LacierShop.com. That's LACIER shop.com, home of the first weighted stainless steel vibrating dildo. Indulge in the luxury of gorgeous steel vibes that'll make toes curl. Visit LacierShop.com, choose from one of their orgasmic vibrating metal dildos, and behold, as 30% disappears from your total when you use code EXPLORES30 at checkout.
And like when it's, now mind you, I have rules and please don't get anything in my eyes. But when there's like spooch dripping off someone's eyelashes, I'm like, oh man, that was the best. So,
all right, see,
I don't know. There might be something wrong with me, and if there is, that's okay because no one's perfect.
No, I mean that's the whole point,
right? But have I ever really admitted to people about me liking that? No, because do you know the looks and comments I would get?
Not until now, when you decided.
Well, right now everybody knows. I've come out as being a fan of cum shots to the face.
Wow. I still don't, and I do watch porn a lot, even like more since I've been doing the 365 days of orgasms. And there's a lot of money shots going on in that. And I still like sometimes cause sometimes porn goes overboard. It's like you would think that it just happens all the time. Sometimes I have to like turn it off. I'm like, all right, enough. I don't get turned on by it, but I'm definitely feeling like I need to put a facial on my sex bucket list to try because I have become super turned on by my partner's ejaculate. And mostly, just the feel of it inside of me. And then, I really enjoy like using it afterwards to masturbate with as we continue to have sex because I am very fortunate and have a partner who like continues to have sex with me long after the ejaculation part has ended, which is something I need. I am someone who I like to continue to have sex after I've had an orgasm. I like to continue to have sex after my partner has. That's not where sex really ends for me. And so in this particular sexual relationship, I realized, oh man, maybe I do like it. And it has turned into, sometimes I ask, can this be a kink? Can liking your partner's sperm or it's not sperm. I know that is not the correct term. I don't want to say ejaculate. Does liking your partner's wad, is that a kink?
Sure.
Or is it just like a normal thing that someone would of course like because they're having sex with someone that they love? I mean, don't you think I would hope that if someone loves me or is really into me, they're into my cum. Like, and if you're not really into my cum, then maybe there's something about me you don't like. Wouldn't you feel that way?
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Who knew talking about facials and men's cum would be so deep. So deep and complicated? I mean,
I would think heady.
That's good.
I'm
sorry. I slapped him.
Anyways, back on track. So I think that's a good point. When you are attracted to someone, their pheromones get you going and stuff. And so it makes sense that their juices, whether they...
She's getting so excited over here. She's like grabbing the mic.
Whether they're, I think that would include their juices, like their...
bodily fluids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, again, I'm talking all hypothetically because I have not had cum in my face. But you know what, Deanna, I'm doing it right now, and I am committing. I am committing to having a facial before the end of this year, before 2023. Cum will be put upon my face.
I support that.
So before the end of this podcast, we are going to have a plan in place.
Oh, I don't know about you, but sometimes my male partner, sometimes they're like, where do you want it?
Yeah.
Look at him and say, my face. That is going to be in a moment for both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I introduce it. Mm-hmm. He never asks me where I want it. I don't think.
Well, if you know he's close to coming.
Yeah.
You could just look at him with a dead sexy look and say, come on my face.
Oh, I think I'm going to plan that perfectly. I've got to really be prepared for it mentally and emotionally,
right?
Though,
because that way it's in your control.
I like that. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do cheers before we put this plan together, and then we're planning out my facial. All right, so let's talk about it.
Okay.
Now I know how to ask for it. So for women out there or men, because if you're a gay guy listening, or a bi guy, or a pan guy, or a non-binary person, and you're like, maybe I want to try a facial too. Fuck, if you're a heterosexual guy and you're like, well, maybe I want to try this before I knock off. This is going to be a plan we can all use or try together, right?
Yeah.
We can do this, folks. I will say this. I want to note a word of caution in advance. In my research and the deep research I did for all of us, I did find out, in fact, male ejaculate in the eye is a real bad deal. It is made of something called spermine, I believe. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. It is what gives men's ejaculate that bleachy scent. And it's very alkaline. And if it does actually get into your eye, it is not only a severe irritant, it can cause your eye to swell. It can really fuck up your eyes. So it's no joke. You could wear sunglasses or do the sexy school girl guy thing and keep your glasses on. I don't know. But whatever you do, make sure your eyes are shut and you're.
Yeah, you should always have your eyes shut.
So.
And then if some gets on your eye while it's shut, you should immediately go and flush it. Like go to a sink in.
Yeah, don't open your eye again. Although I have noticed those porn stars are really good at sweeping it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's their job. They're very good at it. So big caution. Also, if you're going to come on someone's face, don't use some fucking self-control and don't go for the eyes. There's plenty of space going on there. You can avoid the eyes.
Right.
So that was a side note.
And it's always good, whether you're planning on a facial or not, I think it's always good to have a towel close by when you're engaging.
Or even baby wipes just under the bed. Mm-hmm. So which brings me to what I am very curious about. How do you pull off the aftermath of the facial and keep it sexy? Now you are stuck with cum on your face. Presumably your partner is above you with a very quickly deflating cock. One of you is probably going into your refractory period. How do you go from, baby, come on my face to not a awkward end that makes you go, well, that feels just weird now. I've got to get this off my face. Any tips?
Well, I mean, there's a lot you could do. You could gently swoop it and ingest it.
Oh. Okay, that would not be for the first facial.
No.
For the first facial, I don't. We'll be right back. Unlock sexy savings at thethruster.com, home of the customizable Velvet Thruster Prime. Dive into pleasure with an exclusive listener offer. Revolutionary sex toys and lube at an irresistible 30% off when you use code EXPLORES30 at thethruster.com. Mix and match shapes, sizes, colors, and accessories for a thrilling experience. Don't miss out on this naughty and nice extravaganza. Use code EXPLORES30 at checkout at thethruster.com and watch 30% vanish from your total. Cheers. Oh, I'm not ready for that.
You can use it as lube.
That so you just take it off your
Take
face.
it off, and then you put it downtown. Give yourself a little rub, and
keep going.
mm-hmm.
All right. I mean,
because it is a lubricant.
It is a lubricant, and yes, some of the ejaculate. I'm using it now. This is it. This is it, guys. I'm now using the proper fucking words for things like cum, sperm, spooge, wad. But yeah. So there is still going to be some wad on your face. But here is the good news. Because again, as I was like Googling terms that I thought would be the best search terms, it's actually much more difficult to look up this stuff and not just get to Pornhub than you'd think. What I found is only, I think, 2021 sperm, they weren't calling it sperm, I'm sorry. Were they? Sperm facials? Is that what I said that they were called?
Yeah, I think so.
Sperm facials. Wait, hold on. Alexa, were sperm facials a beauty craze?
Here's something I found on the web. According to goodhousekeeping.com, according to researchers, using sperm and facial treatments free, thanks to proteins, zinc, magnesium.
Alexa, stop. So, according to the research I did, and fuck you guys, Good Housekeeping wrote about this. I shit you not. Good fucking Housekeeping wrote an article about sperm facials, saying that they are good for you and leave your skin refreshed and blemish free. True story. Go look it up yourself. So, if everything goes well, the wad doesn't end up in your eyes or anywhere that you need to immediately really remove it from. You just use your hand to sweep away the maybe excess. You leave a nice shiny layer still wherever it fell. It cleanses your skin while you then use the ejaculate as a lube and continue to get off.
Look at that.
God damn, that's a plan.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Cheers
to that.
Can I also get a cheers to Good Housekeeping?
I'll get
Doing the article.
cheers to Good Housekeeping. Wow. Well, guys, I wish I could just redirect you to sheexplorerslife.com for that fucking shit, but missed the craze, because I also think there was a backlash to that, and then people were like, that's not true. But whatever. Who cares? So, we put together a plan for everyone's first, second, maybe all the facials that you ever get.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, well, I would say intermediate level facial is, as Deanna, her first approach, which is putting it, then eating it. I've got to tell you guys something. I do know that, look, I give oral sex. I don't mind swallowing. I'm working to overcome my cum phobia. But I definitely struggle with, after it's out of the human, I am not like a person who really wants to go and lap it up. Like I see it in the porn. I know that everyday people do this, from conversations with my girlfriends, and it's, but Deanna, you don't have the same aversion, I'm assuming.
No, I don't. Mm-mm. I do know, that I recommend that you know the person rather well, so you know like what they've been eating lately.
That's a good part of the conversation.
Because I will debate you all day, every day, if you try to tell me that diet does not affect the taste, because it does affect the taste.
Mm-hmm.
If they have been having a lot of red meat, it's gonna be very bitter. they have a lot of fruit in their diet. It has a sweeter taste. It can be more salty if, like fried food.
Really?
And crap. Yeah. So I've done an unofficial study where I paid attention to these things because, I'd heard the debate. People would say, no, it's not affected by diet. Yes, it is affected. So me being a curious mind that I've always been, I just decided to observe some things. And so I paid attention to what my partner's nutrition was and what their cum tasted like. And then I was like, oh, definitely what they're eating does affect it.
I've always wondered because, like I said, I've definitely been with partners where the scent and taste of their ejaculate really grossed me out. And so I was like, it can't all be just chemistry with someone. It can't just be that I'm really into my current partner and suddenly their spooge is like, this is amazing. It doesn't bother me at all. And look, saying it doesn't bother me and that it even turns me on sometime is like coming a serious long way from where I was. My aversion, my very real aversion to it. So that would ring true. Like I have to imagine that some of the things that I found gross about it with past partners has to be, diet. And I think it was Abby and I did the Fellatio How to Give a Good Blowjob podcast. And in that podcast, I remember her bringing up the diet of partners and how she will not swallow. And it's because people don't take good care of themselves and eat shit and it tastes like shit. She's not putting that in her body. And so I kind of like logged that in my head. And it's funny that you now bring it up. That's two female guests who have brought up diet and the taste of men's ejaculate. So, hey guys, if you have needed a reason to work on your diet, get healthy, work out, take care of yourself, take better care of yourself, you got one. You want women to want to like gobble up your cum, to lick you like an ice cream cone in June and beg for more. Pay attention to your diet. Take care of yourself. Eat some fruit, veggies. Stay away from all that red meat, grease. Some people like it salty. I don't know. So that is our advice and we are sticking to it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so you don't want facials. But your person with a penis, your guy, needs somewhere to put his cum. And let's say you can't put it in you because you don't want to get pregnant or whatever your reason is. Deanna and I took some time together to look up different sex acts that include where men can ejaculate. And we were fascinated.
Oh, yeah.
We were fascinated by the options. So we're going to share some with you because we don't want you to feel like if you've listened to this podcast this far and you're like, I'm a feminist and I'm just not like, I get it. I'm not going to shame anyone for their spooge, but I still don't want it on my face. Or if you're not a feminist and you're like, you dirty, dirty girls, gross. But deep down you're like, so what do I have them do that's still kind of hot? We have options for you because we love all of you. So we came up with a cum shot a cum shot sex act list. Now, most of these are fine. Some of them, not so much. So we're going to quickly discuss them. I'm going to let you start off, Deanna. What's number one?
Well, actually, it's not first on the list, but for those feminists out there, if you want to give it back to the patriarchy, the spitting dragon is for you. This is where you give head and they ejaculate in your mouth and you spit spit it back on him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you want to give it to the man? There you go.
You just spit. You know what? I think I have a spitting dragon story. I didn't realize it was when I was in college. So this is where consent comes into play, and maybe where like guys are getting like a bad rap. It was college. I was at a party. I had met, I hadn't met this guy. I had met him over the years. We had like hung out and talked. He was very, very hot. And we like hooked up at the party, not meaning sex, but we were like, oh, hey, cutie. And we're like, we're going to go get it on in some fashion. I had no intention of having sex with him, but I definitely wanted to mess around with him. So we walked to a park, and at the park, you know, I ended up going down on him under the stars. It seemed sexy and exciting. And I said to him on the way down, I said in some way or other, like, don't come. And this sexy, interesting guy turned out, he was a hippie, turned out to be kind of a dick and came anyways. And I was so fucking pissed. I managed to hold it in my mouth long enough to crawl up and spit it right on his face.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
spitting dragon.
That is what I was, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do notice in the porn, though, that's a thing where men come on women in their mouths and then they do spit it out, and it like turns people on. So I think maybe seeing the come out of a woman's mouth can also be, a fun, sexy thing. I was very angry, and it was an empowering thing. I was once a spitting dragon.
Perfect.
And I feel good about it.
As you should.
All right. So number 2, the cream pie, which seems very basic to me. I feel like this description of it doesn't do it justice, but the one that because I'm a little bit confused about the cream pie, I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds like it's just like coming in a woman and then watching it come out of her vagina or butt. Is that correct? According to what you understand, Deanna?
So I've heard that, but I've also heard a cream pie is when she's cummed in and someone eats her out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the other part of it I left out. So, that would make sense. That makes it more interesting. But I've seen in porn where it's just, or, more than one person comes in her and then they're in awe of it coming out. So there you go, folks. You can come in a woman if she allows you to, if you have no STIs, if you're a trusted partner. I'm not going to do the STI talk with you guys. I'm going to assume you all know to do your homework ahead of time. And then you can either stare at it as it comes out in awe or treat it as though it were a cream pie, which is a dessert. Mm. Your turn.
Let's just go with the good old-fashioned pearl necklace.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who may have never heard of this term, it's a very popular one. And that is when you come on a person's neck, and it's like at the base of the neck, and they're laying down, and the cum kind of parts and rolls to the back of their neck. Thus, the pearl necklace.
If the cum behaves properly, otherwise you just have a bunch of spoo on your neck. But we pretend it looks like a pearl necklace, and this is perfect for the pearl clutchers out there who are afraid of the facial. Mm-hmm. Start with the pearl necklace. And then, maybe every once in a while, he loses control. You get a little on your chin and you can claim the status of a wild, ungodly woman and say you got your facial.
The pearl necklace is the gateway cum shot.
It totally is. It totally is. Mm-hmm. All right. The next one. This is beyond my ability right now. And again, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to judge it. I'm not ready for it. Felching is coming in a butt Okay. So look, first of all, anyone who's been listening this far and just can't handle too much more, now is a good time to like fast forward. But if not, stay with me. It's when someone comes in someone's ass and then I believe licks and sucks it out. Deanna just gagged and cringed over there. So I feel better about my own aversion to this one. I don't know, but we're all into some stuff and I'm not judging you. If you're out there and you're a felcher, hey, I want you to know I accept you.
Yep.
But can you please email me at Annette@sheexplorerslife.com because I want to understand. I want to understand you. I want to talk to you. I might even interview you. Annette@sheexplorerslife.com. Please contact me immediately.
So, when you graduated to a facial, there's a thing called the turkey shot.
I would call this intermediate or advanced.
Definitely.
Facial.
And so actually this is more for our male listeners, our listeners with penises, because you play a key part in this one.
You have a role to acute.
So when you, when there is ejaculate around the person's mouth and it rolls down under their chin, the ejaculator then goes gobble gobble.
And that is called
A turkey shot.
a turkey shot. A turkey shot. So did you catch that? No, maybe it's not. Do they ejaculate in the mouth even or around the mouth?
It just said when the cum drips down the chin. And so it comes under the chin, then
you
gobble,
say
gobble.
You say gobble gobble as a command. Gobble it up, baby. Gobble gobble. We'll be right back. Spice up your holidays with 30% off sex toys, lube, and hot novelty gifts at boutiquevoila.com with code EXPLORERS30. Imagine a vibrating lipstick, a rubber ducky that gets lucky, or even getting pounded by Thor's hammer. Literally, it's not just gifts, it's an experience. Use code EXPLORERS30 when you shop at boutiquevoila.com. That's boutiquevoila.com and save 30% at checkout. Cheers. Yeah.
So maybe this Thanksgiving,
I see
people should celebrate with a turkey shot.
I see it as kind of a fall kind of activity.
Yeah.
Seasonal. I feel like it has a seasonal feel to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So turkey shot this fall. It is not on my sex bucket list as of yet. Okay. We only have one more left. Is that true? No, we have two. I'm going to go for the snowball. The snowball. It can be done any time of year, but especially during the winter months. So, guys, your girl is going down on you. You come in her mouth, and then she holds it in there, and she comes up, and you French kiss, and you can pass it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as you pass it back and forth, it will actually increase in size and fluidity. I should have put a warning on that one ahead of time. I just had to take a moment. But yeah, I've seen that this also, I think, in group activities sometimes happens, or in threesomes, where then the other, maybe not the person who ejaculated, but the other two people involved will pass it back and forth. I'm outie. That's not happening for me, maybe ever. I don't see
snowballing in my future either.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it.
No, not shaming you.
Mm-hmm.
Not shaming you. Really trying not to shame you. No, people are into what they're into. And finally, the bukkake.
So this is in a multiple partner sex act.
Or a gangbang.
Where there is multiple people ejaculating
Upon
an individual. That is some bukkake.
That's some bukkake. I really like the word.
I love the word bukkake.
I do too. I wonder how that came to be a word for that act?
I don't know. Thinking about blowing your wad, now I almost kind of want to research these slang terms and where they originated from.
We will do a whole podcast on that. We could do
a follow-up podcast.
Yeah, we're going to research these. I mean, I'm not promising. It sounds like a good idea in this moment, but I mean, if we can't find anything, then we won't do a follow-up. But if we do find, we definitely could do a, what do you call it? A sort of a dictionary, terminology. Terminology. Sex terminology follow-up. Oh, I like that idea. Yeah. So guys, look, I feel like we've covered quite a bit. Now, I would love to hear from women about how you feel about men's cum, or women. I mean, like, I've talked to a lot of girlfriends about this. It seems to be like there's a wide variety of feelings and assumptions about, like how women react to the whole thing. And I think probably what you've gotten a little sample of between, I mean, Deanna and I were a good duo for this podcast because Deanna is very cum positive and I am a recovering cum rebelled person. And I do think that covers sort of the extremes of how we can all feel about it. I think the things that are really important, in my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours, is that there's consent, not just consent ahead of time, but like a conversation, which should go along with your conversation about STIs and being safe and what kind of fluid exchange is possible within your relationship, but also like, what do you like and how do you feel about this and how can I make you feel more comfortable, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think another thing that's really important is, you talked about that study from the Bad Girl Bible, and it said 1 in 4, which I think I want to assume that it was an anonymous survey.
Yeah.
And I think there's more people out there who like it, but
the cum shot to the face,
like the cum shot anywhere, but maybe are quiet about it. And so I really encourage people not to have shame in liking it. There's nothing wrong. It is normal. Don't listen to Dr. Ruth. She's an old woman, very conservative. It is okay to like it. There is no shame in getting a face shot. There's no shame in felching. It might not be for everybody, but I really want to encourage people not to be shamed anymore by their feelings and their liking of cum activities.
Right. I think that what struck me when I was looking up articles for this podcast, and I kind of went into it laughing a little bit. I'm thinking maybe it's a silly topic, but the more that I read our mainstream articles about it, the more I was like, it really bothers me that this act has been turned into something dirty. And then people say, oh, it only happens in porn. And even more than that, what I saw was, a lot of quote sex experts saying porn has like convinced people they have to do this. I would like to challenge the idea that porn is convincing anyone to do anything. I would like to say that porn is a reflection of the things that we want to do deep down.
Or that we are doing and not talking about.
Right. And that we're enjoying. Like, that's the fact. It's not a fact. I haven't proven it, but I believe porn is that reflection. And it gets blown out of like movies do, right? Movies take most cinematic experiences are based on some little small semblance of truth. But yeah, it's okay to like or be interested or want to try these things. It's nobody else's business unless you decide to like have a podcast on it or write about it or put it out there. So we're stripping the shame from it. Sorry if I gagged over your specific kink. It's just me. It's just my own opinion, or personal, like, and most likely if I gagged, that means I haven't done it. So what does my opinion matter, right?
Right.
So, Deanna, this was a fun one.
It was a good one.
I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Educational.
Yeah. So we're going to have you back soon because
I would love to come back soon.
Nice. All right, guys. So a couple things I want to put out there real quickly before we move on. I launched at the YouTube channel. It's not got a lot on it yet, but there are videos coming. I'm covering a whole bunch of sex toys, doing some reviews. I am going to be covering some book reviews. I've been reading some cool books. I am going to be sharing some tips and tricks that I've been learning through my research. And I am considering doing some outtakes from the podcast, meaning things, we run through the podcast and a lot of really good information comes out. But for listeners, it's not always easy to go back to. So I'm looking at translating those into videos, short, like little 3 to 5 minute videos that sum up the highlights from the podcast, and also in articles. So head over to sheexploreslife.com. We're adding new articles to that all of the time with great tips, information, book reviews, toy reviews. We've got some fun columns going up by some incredible women who are out there on their own groundbreaking sexual adventures. So that's pretty exciting too. If you have questions, thoughts, things you'd like to contribute, I will be doing some mini episodes that answer questions that are being sent in to me. I've already gotten some questions sent in to me. I want to encourage both men and women to send thoughts and questions into me, things we've talked about that you need clarification on. Also, I would like, if you have a topic you want me to discuss, send it my way. Anything like that, send it to Annette, ANNETTE, at sheexploreslife.com. You can also find us at lockerroomtalkpodcast.com, sheexploreslife.com, and on social media. I think I covered it.
I think you did.
All right. So, Deanna, until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you in the locker room.